Okay, so in the spring of 2016 is when this was. My husband and I were getting ready to buy a house. We had already sold ours and was renting for a while until we found what we wanted. We found what we wanted and we signed a contract to buy the house. And we were getting close to the closing date. And the agreement was that once we closed, we would only have like 48 hours to get everything out. So we knew it was going to be a hustle. In the meantime, it's getting down to like 2 days before closing. In the meantime, I get a message from some of my kids up north in Indiana. Of course, I'm in Georgia, and so we're 400 miles apart. And in the meantime, I get a message, and it says, I'm your son's girlfriend, and I just want to let you know that I just took your son to the ER. He has some kind of sore that's not going to heal. It's not healing, and so he's in a lot of pain in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and leave him at the emergency room and have them figure it out. Well, okay, so I want to be kept, up to date. I want her to let me know what's going on. So we text back and forth about every move that was made. I'm sure I drove her crazy, and she's not his girlfriend anymore, but she sure was an angel for me during that time. My other kids were freaking out. They were spazzing. They were crying. They thought he was going to die because it got worse as he was there. He wasn't passing urine, and it became an emergency situation where they took him up to critical care, just like that. And in the meantime, I'm sitting there going, okay, what do I do? We have to go tomorrow, and we have to sign papers for this house, and we have to be out within 48 hours. What do? I need to go up there and be with my son. So everybody was like, no, just stay there. We'll keep you notified. We'll let you know. Go ahead, and as soon as you sign on, on the house or whatever, you can go ahead and come up. Well, in the meantime, I was in bed waiting to go to sign these papers, and I was just praying. I mean, it's the only thing I knew to do. And so I was praying nonstop for 24 hours. Just, please God, please save my son. Please save my son. I wasn't even asking for his will to be done at that point. It's a point where you're so scared that all you know to do is just pray for what you want. I didn't know. They were saying that he only had like a 20% chance. All of a sudden, I get a message that it's just gotten worse. They have found out that he has sepsis, that he has a flesh-eating bacteria, and it's eating at his arm. And I'm freaking out trying to figure out what the hell all this stuff is, because I don't know. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know. They said that they took him into emergency surgery, and even the doctors, the anesthesiologist, said they didn't give him much of a chance to make it. I didn't know this, but he did die on the table, and they did revive him. He would not have told me that until like a year ago. I learned that. So all of this is happening at one time. My son is going into surgery after surgery. I'm freaking out because I'm just on the bed just praying and praying and praying, because I know that if I get in the car and come up there, that's going to be dangerous for me to drive in that state of mind. And not only that, but I had to stay here and sign for this house, or we were going to lose our house. We had to be out within 48 hours, and my husband and I were the only ones. We had to move all of our furniture for an entire 3-story house. It was just me and him. We had no one else. So, and of course everyone was saying, just stay where you are, just sit still, don't try to drive. So we went, and we had to go pick up a few things at Walmart before we went the next day to sign the papers. There was a sofa that I had ordered for the new house, and if I didn't go pick it up, it was going to go back, because I had let it sit there until I thought we were ready to move. And so I had no choice but to go pick up this sofa at Walmart. So I go and I sit there in the truck, and it's pouring down rain, and I'm thinking, how am I I going to take a sofa in this truck? I can't. So I just sat there in my truck in the Walmart parking lot. It's raining, it's storming, it's thundering. I'm looking up and I'm still praying this whole time. I'm like a zombie. I'm like, I haven't slept, I haven't done anything. I might doze off for a few minutes and then I wake back up and just keep praying. And because I never wanted anything more in my life than for my son to make it through this. I love my children with all my heart. They are my entire world. If anything were to happen to them, I knew it would kill me. It would just put me in a state where I don't know if I would ever come out of it. And so I was like a frozen zombie myself. And so I looked down at my phone, and of course I had Facebook open, and someone had posted a picture of some clouds in the sky that looked just like horses coming down from heaven. A bunch of horses, a herd of horses. And of course it's storming, it's raining. I'm sitting in the Walmart parking lot. I've been crying for days. I'm in a stupor, and I get this picture that comes across of clouds of horses. And I look at that picture and I say to the Lord at that moment, I said, Lord, and I was sitting here all by myself in the truck. And I said to myself, Lord, is this a sign that you're trying to tell me that you're coming to take my son? And I thought maybe that's what it was, because to me it looked like a herd of horses coming down from the heavens. And I was like, if that's what you're doing, then please help me to be able to accept this, because I don't know how I could do it without, your strength. And so we take care of everything, and we're getting ready to go sign off on the house the next morning. And of course I'm messaging his girlfriend every 5 minutes to say, what's going on now? What's going on now? Well, they even brought a preacher in there to pray over him, who was part of my daughter's husband. My daughter's husband has a grandfather that's a preacher, and they all prayed over him in his bed. And it was a lot worse than what they were letting on to me. I didn't know some of this stuff. They were letting me know it was serious, but they weren't letting me know that he more than likely only had 20% chance to live through all this. The flesh-eating bacteria was eating at his arm. The sepsis was shutting down all of his vital organs. It was already starting to affect his heart. It had affected his kidneys. They put him on total, I guess you call it dialysis. I don't know what you call it, but they had him hooked up to every machine possible. My kids told me later that when they walked in the room, there was every machine you could think of in the hospital was in there, and it was so scary. My son lost it. My other daughter was like, Mom, I'm afraid he's not going to make it, and things like this. And I just thought through the whole thing, just kept telling them, just keep your faith, pull your faith out right now, pull it out as hard as you can. If you ever had it before, use it now. And for some reason, the kids just, they got scared, and they didn't really rely on their faith so much. And they do know the Lord, and they do know faith. And I'm sure now that they see that, anything is possible with the Lord, even though it looked really bad. I just kept saying, have faith. He's going to make it. He's going to make it. Have faith. Have faith. And through this whole thing, even with everything shutting down, him being on a machine, they finally found the antibiotic that was going to help this. And they don't know till they just keep trying with sepsis, because if you know anything about sepsis is deadly. Up until recently, anybody that gets it usually dies from it, because they didn't know that much about it. Now they're kind of onto it more so. It's just where your body is going to, everything was going to his arm to help fight the flesh-eating bacteria. So when everything, your immune and everything you have inside you goes to one part of your body just to try to heal it, then other parts of your body suffer. Your kidneys shut down, your heart stops working, and that's what was beginning to happen to Sean. And so they finally found the antibiotic that they were able to put in there, and I'll show you a picture of it in this video. a picture of his arm too, and then I also have a picture of his leg where they had to later go in and do skin grafting to put on his arm where it had ate at his arm. He never lost his arm. He never lost use of his arm. He came completely out of it. They took him off all the machines. He woke up and said he was hungry for a McDonald's Big Mac. Now, in the meantime, you know, I'm getting this news, and I'm at the realtor signing papers for my new house, and I'm getting this news that yes, they just brought him out and took him off of everything, and Mom, he wants a Big Mac, and they said that he's going to make a full recovery. Even his arm is going to be able to be used. It did not eat any of his limbs off. It did not do anything to his vital organs. He is completely healed, Mom. He is going to be fine. After many, weeks of staying in there and taking this antibiotic and doing skin grafting and all the stuff that they had to do, my son today is 100% past all of that. He does have some arthritis, which I'm sure has got to have been caused from the sepsis or something, but it didn't show up until just recently. So like a couple of years later, he's showing up with rheumatoid arthritis really, really bad, where his muscles and all just hurt so bad he can't even move. But he's with a good doctor now, and they're on to that, and they're taking care of that, and they know all of his history. And keep in mind, this whole time my son is 400 miles away from me. I can't even hug him or hold him. So he and the girl broke up. They're no longer together, but I still call her my angel. I don't care one way or the other. If it had been for her keeping me notified of everything, I would have been sick. They probably would have had to put me somewhere in a hospital too. And I was afraid to drive because I was going in and out of sleep, just sleeping for like 5 minutes and then waking up and praying, crying. This whole time my husband's tried to handle the house issues and all the stuff that we've got to do to move, and it just really was a crazy time of my life. We got the house, we got moved in, and as soon as we did, I went up there. I had to see him, I had to hold him, I had to hug him. I also had some grandbabies up there that I hadn't seen yet, and I had to go up there and see them. So yeah, I was okay. Everything was fine. The very next year, 2017, my oldest son, my oldest daughter, and my youngest child, they all three, not the one that just had the sepsis. I have 4 kids. He's not the one. The other 3 all had a baby within 30 days of each other in 2017. So we went from way down low, praying to God just to save my son, to having 3 brand new members of the family back to back, just bam, 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 2 girls and a baby boy. I couldn't have been any happier. And that is why I look at things today in a different light, and I say, you know what? That was my miracle. That right there, when I saw those clouds that were shaped like horses coming down out of the sky, that wasn't the Lord telling me something negative. That was the Lord coming to me with something positive. And you have to remember that just because you think something is bad, the Lord might be trying to show you, more than likely, something good. Those horses were coming down to save my son, is what it took. It took a herd of angels from heaven to come down and save my son. That's how bad he was. And so now I look at things, not the glass is half full, not the horses are coming to take him, but not the glass is half empty and the horses are coming to take him, but the glass is half full and the horses are coming to save him. And that is a message I'd like to get out to those that are in a desperate mindset right now, where you feel like your loved one is not going to make it. Just keep thinking positive.